How's it going, everyone? Grant Cohn here by myself today. Didn't stream yesterday. No Mondays with Vish yesterday. No Cohn Zone last week. No Cohn Zone today. Uh, got some things going on in my life right now. It should be okay, but they're not over with yet. Some family stuff. Haven't really talked to many people about it because I want everything to be resolved before talk about it. So anyway, that's what's going on. You may see a little less in me than normal, but I'll be around. So that's what you got to know. I think Vish and I are going to do a show later tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow. I'll take all your questions today, but I'm going to go through my spiel first. So bear with me. Let's start with Trey Lance's knee. This was just a bombshell yesterday. We're on the conference call and Kyle Shanahan says, oh, by the way, Trey Lance sprained knee. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks or one or two. One or two is what he said. I think it's interesting that the Niners have no idea when he hurt his knee. And neither does Trey Lance, apparently. I've never heard of that. Kyle's like, yeah, we don't know. It happened sometime in the game. We don't know. He didn't feel it after the game. He felt it when he was lying in bed that night. I'm not coming on this show to give conspiracy theories or to doubt the veracity of these reports. But isn't it very strange that they don't know when it happened? Okay, so that's strange. But how this worked out for Kyle is he's made it clear he wants to start Jimmy Garoppolo all season. He said it. If Jimmy Garoppolo's healthy, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter. And it's looking like Jimmy Garoppolo most likely will be healthy against the Colts. I mean, he was almost healthy enough to play in this game. But Niner fans don't want Jimmy Garoppolo to start anymore. At least the Niner fans who follow me on Twitter. Because I put out a poll yesterday saying, should Trey Lance start against the Colts? And 90% of more than 5,000 people who voted on it said, yes, he should start. So Kyle Shanahan was going to be in a position where he was going to piss off 90% of 49er fans. Maybe my audience is a little skewed, but most Niner fans he was going to piss off. And now he doesn't have to do that. I'm not saying, this is a conspiracy to avoid making a decision. I'm just saying what an upshot for him. He doesn't have to make a decision. He can start Jimmy Garoppolo against the Colts and say, well, Lance isn't even healthy, so don't get mad at me. The other thing, though, that's happening here is what if neither Garoppolo and Lance are healthy enough to play against the Colts? That's possible. Garoppolo has a calf strain that's connected to the Achilles. He might want to be really careful with that. And a knee sprain, easily might not be ready to play in 14 days. So what if it's Nate Sudfeld? It's funny. Kyle Shanahan was asked about that on the conference call, and he gave the most optimistic, upbeat, glowing report of Nate Sudfeld. He hasn't talked that way about any quarterback this year. He said he's the consummate pro. He's the biggest professional. He would be so excited to have Nate Sudfeld out there. He was ready last week. He'll be ready next week. He's such a pro. Kyle Shanahan's love for mediocre quarterbacks is wild. Unathletic, mediocre quarterbacks. So Nate Sudfeld's a possibility. Probably not going to happen. What's most likely going to happen is Jimmy Garoppolo will go back to starting, and all the Niner fans that wanted Lance to start won't be as upset because they'll see him as injured. Now, there's one more thing, side effect of Lance's injury. Now he can and will spend the bye week with the team, and he could be rehabbing. He could be working with the coaches. We don't know. He needs as much development and coaching as possible. The 49ers didn't give it to him in May or June or July or August or September, but in October, they're getting around to actually coaching him and developing him. And this gives them an extra week with him around the facility. He's not going home. He'll be there. And if they want to work on his reads, if they want to work on anything while he's rehabbing his knee, they can do that. So perhaps this is a way for them to get him ready to play the rest of the season if he has to. Because remember, we don't know what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle clearly wants Jimmy Garoppolo to come back. Where's Jimmy at? Jimmy needs to protect himself. Jimmy knows that the Niners are going to get rid of him. They're going to dump him at the end of the year. So is he going to play through a calf sprain and potentially make it worse and affect his earning ability in the offseason? No. So I would think it's in Kyle's interest to push Jimmy back out there because Kyle needs to win. It's in Jimmy's interest to be cautious and play when there's no risk of re-injuring or making it worse. And in that case, Lance may need to keep playing. So they say it's not super severe. He's going to be around with the coaches and the training staff. I do believe he's hurt. I think it's weird that they don't know when it happened. It just seems so convenient. They needed more time with him. Now they get it. They needed an excuse to not start him next week in case Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy. Now they get it. So it all worked out for Kyle Shanahan. He's no longer in the crosshairs. Niner fans were pretty pissed after the game. I think this, I don't know, takes some of the burden off of Kyle. Now let's talk about his play calling because he has a lot to answer for. Again, I'm not going conspiracy theory here, but I think we can all agree that his play calling has been bad this year. Really, since halftime of game one, the offense has been bad. And the question is, there's only two scenarios here. One, Kyle Shanahan has lost his touch. He was good 2 years ago. He's not good anymore. Happens to coaches all the time. Mike Martz was good for a while, then he wasn't. Chip Kelly had his moment, and then he fell apart. The league caught up to him. He didn't evolve. That could be what's happening with Kyle Shanahan. The other thing that could be happening is he's mailing it in. I don't know. I'm going to go with option one, that he's lost his touch, because option two is really bad. I mean, if he's mailing it in, they need to fire him now, and really, he shouldn't be ever employed again as a head coach. You can't do stuff like that. I mean, Bill O'Brien did something like that, right? Did Bill O'Brien say in his book that he was trying to get the Texans to fire him at the end? That's why he was doing. So I guess it happens in the NFL. Bill O'Brien did it in Houston. I would hate to think that Kyle's doing that here. So let's just talk about him losing his touch, not being as good as he used to be. Well, where's the evidence of it? How about the fact that in week 2, they scored 7 points in the first half against the Eagles. In week 3, they scored 7 points in the first half against the Packers. Week 4, they scored 7 points in the first half against the Seahawks. And then week 5, they scored 0 points in the first half against the Cardinals. Seems to me that doesn't matter which quarterback is in. This team has a terrible game plan. Only time their game plan was good was when they faced the Lions, who had no freaking idea what they were doing. First-year coaching staff in the first game act like they'd never seen the Niners offense before. Other than that, the Niners offense has been terrible, especially early in the game. They've made some adjustments to get points on the board later, but 4 weeks in a row, their game plan has been awful. And their players have said, well, we haven't been prepared for this front, for that look, for this thing. There's that. The fact that the offense can't score in the first half. Then, look at this last game for Trey Lance. You have a rookie quarterback, the youngest quarterback in the history of the NFL since 1970. The last 50-something years, 51 years, making a start. And your game plan is to put the game 100% on his shoulders. You don't use the running backs. They played well. Elijah Mitchell averaged 4.8 yards per carry, only got 9 carries. So, 85% of the time there was a play, it was either Trey Lance passes or Trey Lance runs. Is that a smart way to structure a game plan for a rookie making his first start? It seems to me if you want to make things as hard as possible on him, which is what Kyle's been doing since preseason, if you want to make things as hard as possible on us, a great way to do it. And he did. I thought Trey Lance played admirably given the fact that he was in empty formations with no extra blockers all day, having to protect himself and make plays. Did he show his inexperience? Of course he did. But he battled, and he wasn't given a good game plan. I don't like the way Kyle Shanahan called. If CJ Beathard was out there, that's not how Kyle Shanahan calls plays. When CJ's out there, or, if Nate Sudfeld plays next week, you'll see a lot of handoffs to the running back and a lot of quick play action throws on the move, rolling left and right. They do it all the time for CJ. They would do it for Nate Sudfeld, not for Trey Lance, apparently. For Lance, you have to do everything on your own, and everything has to be extremely difficult. No passes over the middle of the tight end. Yeah, Ross Dwelly's our most sure-handed receiver, and he just runs 10 yards and turns around, and he's 6'5", and he has these great hands, and you can just throw it to him. And we're not going to do that until the third quarter after Grant Cohn makes a big point about it on Twitter, because Kyle doesn't make adjustments until he reads my Twitter feed. That's what I'm thinking. I think his play calling is indefensible this year. The people who think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach always point to his play calling. It's been bad. He didn't know how to call plays for Trey Lance. He set him up to look worse than he is. The offense has terrible scripts every game. Usually, teams with offensive geniuses come out hot. The thing with Chip Kelly, when he was on this team, they would actually score points in the first quarter. They were a good first quarter team. Defenses would adjust to the tempo of the Niners offense, how the up tempo, fast paced stuff. And then they would adjust. The Niners wouldn't adjust and get shut down. The second half, this team is different. This team, every week, whatever they think they're going to do, whatever they thought they saw on film, whatever they thought would work, they come into the game and they're like, damn, well, that didn't work. So now we have 7 points at halftime. What are we going to do? I don't know. Either he's mailing it in or he's not that good anymore. Either scenario is very troubling for 49ers fans. What would you rather the case be? That he doesn't want to coach the Niners and is trying to get fired, or that he's legitimately not a good coach anymore? Either way, he's got to go unless he picks it up. The next, what's he got? 13, 12 games left. Let's see a good offense for a change. Let's see some creativity. I don't know what's going on, but ever since 2019, his offense has stunk. Gotten a lot of excuses for it. Okay, so now let's talk about Kyle Shanahan's motives. We all have theories as to why he's been so bad this year. But I have a real theory as to why he's not all in with Trey Lance, why he's so reluctant to make the transition. Also, why he's not eager to really play Brandon Ayuk. It seems to me that everything Kyle Shanahan is doing this season, is incredibly short-sighted. All about winning right now, which is surprising, I think, to journalists and fans, because this is a guy who was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, recently was regarded as one of the up-and-coming top coaches in the league. Everyone thinks he's really good. And now he's coaching like everyone just assumed that he's going to be here forever. He's gotten an extension. He got a 6-year contract and then a 6-year extension. Everyone talks about him like he's Bill Walsh and he's going to be here for the next 20 years and he is the 49ers. But he's not coaching that way. When he traded up for Trey Lance, you're thinking, man, this guy has a lot of job security, man. He's taking on a 3-year project. He's committed to this. This is going to be his pet project for the next 3 years. Actually, he's put very little effort into coaching Lance, very little effort into coaching Aaron Banks, Ambry Thomas, Brandon Ayuk, Trey Sermon, all the young guys. He's like, I'm not interested. I can't afford to coach you this year. And what they were saying was, well, we're a Super Bowl team, so we're so good we have no time for rookies this year. Well, they're not a Super Bowl team. What they are is maybe a playoff team, a fringe playoff team. So what we're seeing is Kyle Shanahan is coaching like a guy who's on the hot seat. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat. I'm saying he's on the hot seat by the way he's coaching. He's coaching like a guy who thinks he'll get fired if he doesn't make the playoffs. I think that explains all of his decisions this year. I think it's pretty clear. Once you look at him as a desperate coach on the hot seat, everything makes sense. Why is he desperately clinging to Jimmy Garoppolo, even though Jimmy might give you like a 1% chance, a 1% better chance to win than Trey Lance at this point? It's not even demonstrable that Jimmy Garoppolo gives you a better chance to win than Trey Lance. But he's the vet. He has a winning record. Trey Lance, as he improves throughout the year with playing time, maybe he'll cost you a couple games along the way. And Kyle's not willing to take that chance. A secure coach who has job security would take that chance. But this is year 5. He's only made the playoffs once. He's coaching like he has to make the playoffs this year. And we're all saying, embrace the future. It's a rebuild. Go with Lance. If you lose some games along the way, it's okay. What do you really think you're going with Jimmy Garoppolo? Well, it's easy for us to say our job isn't on the line. I think it looks pretty clear that he's a desperate coach. And he's going to cling to Jimmy Garoppolo because if he misses the playoffs, someone else is going to be coaching Trey Lance next year. That's the way he's acting. And I think I'd be doing the same thing in his situation. I get it. I wouldn't be playing Jimmy, but I'd be nervous. I would think I'm on the hot seat. Either Jed York told him or it's understood. You can't miss the playoffs 4 to 5 years. Josh Dubow put out a stat that of the coaches who have made it this far in their tenure, how many games? Like 60-something games, almost 70 games. That's what Kyle's got. He's got like the 5th worst record of all time. Like down there with Jay Gruden and guys like that. So it's time for him to produce. No one wants to hear the injury excuse. And I don't even know if Jed York would want to hear, well, look, I was playing Trey Lance. You know, we missed the playoffs again, but give me one more chance. I don't know if he'll get it. So I keep hearing like from journalists and stuff around the Bay, look, Kyle's not on the hot seat. How do you know? Tell him that. Tell him that, because if he believed it, maybe he'd be more willing to play Brandon Ayuk. Forget Trey Lance. Let's put Trey Lance to the side for a second, okay? Brandon Ayuk is the same situation, but he doesn't play quarterback. Everyone's like, well, you know, quarterbacks, it takes, you have to age them in oak barrels for 10 years before they're ready to play. It's not wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk played well last year in a lost season where Kyle Shanahan wasn't desperate. This year, he has to make the playoffs, I think. And all of a sudden, Mohamed Sanu has more targets this season than Brandon Ayuk. Mohamed Sanu, who's not good, who's my age, not getting better. Brandon Ayuk, young, could improve, make some mistakes along the way. Kyle's going with Sanu. That just shows you how terrified he is of losing games that he shouldn't lose. He's totally sacrificing the future. He's not preparing any of the young guys for the future. Not Ayuk, not Ambry Thomas, not Trey Lance, not Aaron Banks. He's not preparing any of them. So if he gets fired, the new guy comes in and has a bunch of guys who haven't been coached, haven't been developed. It's almost like Kyle Shanahan's parting gift to the 49ers. Oh, you want to get rid of me? Well, good luck with all these guys I didn't coach. Have fun. Scorched earth. Those are Kyle Shanahan's motives, I believe. Staying employed, making the playoffs. He doesn't have the luxury of playing Trey Lance and missing the playoffs this year. Now, what's rough for him is he may not have a freaking choice, because Jimmy Garoppolo isn't magically taking him to the playoffs. Jimmy Garoppolo is 5-6 in his last 11 starts. And Jimmy Garoppolo has gotten hurt in 3 of his last 9 starts. So, Kyle, if you're desperate and you're hoping Jimmy's going to keep you employed for one more year, don't count on it. Lance was probably going to give you your best chance, and now he's hurt too. So hopefully Sudfeld's as good as you think he is. Let's talk about the 49ers record. Some of you might be over there saying, you know what, Grant, you're being way too hard on Kyle right now. He easily could be 5-0. Easily could be 5-0. I've heard this a lot. I've heard this from on the radio, from people associated with the 49ers. Easily could be 5-0, as if the fact that they're not and they're 2-3 is okay, because they easily could be 5-0. First of all, they ain't 5-0. They're 2-3. So I don't really know where that comes from. And also, most games in the NFL are decided by one score. So like most teams could say this, but let's just go with the premise real quick, because there is merit to it. They easily could be 5-0. Yeah, in the sense that they were winning against the Packers with 37 seconds left, and they lost, even though the Packers had no timeouts. Yeah, they should have won that game, and they lost. The next week, they outgained the Seahawks by more than 200 yards and lost. So yeah, they should have won that game too. And then this game against the the Cardinals, they outgained them as well. You could say they should have won. Well, okay. So we agree on the premise they should have won those 3 games. But then people take it the next logical step, which is that means things aren't as bad as they seem with the 49ers. That's a good thing that they should be 5-0 and aren't. I look at that as really bad. The fact that the Niners have now given away 3 games that should be in the win column is terrible. That points to big problems in an organization. Not, well, we didn't execute. No, no, no. These are coaching problems, management problems. Kyle lost the game against the Packers. Why? Because he couldn't manage 37 seconds on the clock at the end. Let's back up. Before the 37 seconds, what everyone blames on D'Amico Ryans. How about the touchdown throw to Juszczyk, where Jimmy Garoppolo snaps the ball with 12 seconds left on the play clock? How about the head coach pays attention to something more than his play calls and tells the quarterback, look, Jimmy, snap the ball with 3 seconds left. How about remind him? But no, Kyle doesn't think that way. He's thinking only about the next play, only about the next play. So he doesn't think about telling his quarterback to take 9 seconds off the clock. You lost because you weren't thinking about that. Then on the kickoff, you didn't tell your special teams coach, hey, kick the ball on the ground so we shave some time off the clock. No, you kick it in the end zone. You mismanaged the clock at the end of the game and lost the game you should have won. That's terrible. Then the next week, why'd you lose to the Seahawks when you should have won? Because even though you outgained them by 200 yards, you were attempting field goals with a punter. You did. So again, you gave away a game you should have lost. You should have won. How is that good? That you're finding a way to give away games. And then this game against the Cardinals, you lost because you went for it on 4th down 5 times. And your play calls on 4th down were ridiculous. They were awful. You had Kyle Juszczyk do that stupid quarterback sneak that he did last week or 2 weeks ago. You just did it. You just put that on film. They studied for it. They were ready for it. How about something else? How about something else? And then that one at the goal line, no one was open. So that play didn't work. 5 times on 4th down, and you only made one of them. That's how you lost. Okay, so let's take it one more step. So they gave away the last 3 games. Some Niner fans are encouraged about that when I think that's really shows how bad of a job Kyle Shanahan is doing. But let's take it further. Easily could be 5-0. They easily could be 0-5. They barely beat the Lions and the Eagles. Both of those games went down on the wire. The Niners were up big on the Lions. The Lions came all the way back and had the ball like 30 yards away from the end zone, down 8 at the end. They had the ball and a chance to tie at the end, and they were in striking distance. That's shameful. Easily could have lost that game. Then they easily could have lost against the Eagles. The only reason they beat the Eagles is because Jaquiski Tartt ran down Kez Watkins on the 91-yard catch, and they had that improbable, amazing goal line stand. There were heroic plays all over the defense. Only reason they beat a bad Eagles team. This team could easily be 0-5. So I don't want to hear anymore that the Niners are really a really good 5-0 team that's just had some bad luck. No. You could say they're an 0-5 team that's had some good luck. And why are they why do they have these problems? Because they have managerial issues that stem from Kyle Shanahan. He's doing a really bad job. Here's the problem, though. Let's say Kyle Shanahan misses the playoffs and Jed York wants to fire him. Where do they go from there? When they hired Kyle Shanahan, they had pretty much a terrible roster and a 29-year-old mobile quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. Next year, they will have a 22-year-old mobile quarterback in Trey Lance and a roster that's going to be losing a lot of vets who signed on 1-year deals. Mostert will be gone. Verrett will be gone. Tartt will be gone. A lot of vets will not be on this team anymore. And the Niners will have to sort of rebuild. Problem is, no first-round pick in 2022. No first-round pick in 2023. What is the core of this team? George Kittle, who's always hurt. Deebo Samuel. Nick Bosa, 2 other guys who have injury issues. Who else? Trent Williams? I don't know. Seems like you don't really have a core. You don't really have first-round picks. You have scorched earth once again. Kyle Shanahan, if he gets fired, if he leaves, will leave the Niners in the same situation that he found them. And that really just underscores how underwhelming of a job Kyle Shanahan is done. He has not built anything sustainable. This team only looks good on paper. They're only good when healthy, which is, 3 days in the spring and then like a day and a half in the fall. That's when they're healthy. So life after Shanahan, it's complicated, but it's probably going to have to happen. It's probably going to I'm not talking about whether he should or shouldn't get fired. I think they should fire him if he misses the playoffs. I'm not impressed with Kyle, but I've never been impressed. We're talking about what Jed's going to do. And it's looking like Jed could pull the plug here. Because look, Jed is very excited about Trey Lance. It seems to me like Jed overruled Kyle about Mac Jones. Jed is very excited about Trey Lance. He has promise. Steve Young compares him to himself. You can sell Trey Lance to the fan base. You can sell the hope, hype, all of it to the fan base. If Kyle Shanahan is not on board, they'll find some other coach who is. And they can ride the Trey Lance train for a while and make money that way. Before, the hype, the hope, it all came from Kyle Shanahan, not from Jimmy Garoppolo. But now it's Trey. Sorry, Kyle. If you don't get on board, someone else will coach this team. It's just too bad. I mean, what general manager are they going to get to come here with? Say, hey, no first-round pick the next 2 years. They're going to have to find a way to get those picks. It's a really bad situation they're in. Life after Kyle Shanahan. It's a little rough. Okay, I got a way to get those picks. What about trading Kyle Shanahan to the Raiders? Because they lost their head coach, John Gruden. Real quick, can we talk about Gruden real quick? What a bum. What a bum. Oh, those are private emails? You're still a bum. Who talks like that? And also, he probably should have resigned after the first one. About DeMaurice Smith, that was racist. Probably should have resigned after that one. And then that comes out and you're like, oh, well, I guess I understand why you're such a bad personnel guy. You're prejudiced. Not a really good coach either. Then more stuff comes out, homophobic stuff. See you later, dude. Never liked that guy. Always gave me the creeps. Always felt that he was a character. That whatever he was showing on Monday Night Football or whatever he was showing, those faces he made on the sideline, it's just some character that he made him to be marketable and to stand out from the rest of the normal, regular coaches. But I don't know what he's really, I guess we just found out what he's really like, huh? Anyway, so the Raiders need a coach. The Niners need first-round picks. How about if the Niners aren't going to make the playoffs, if Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to coach Trey Lance, if this is heading toward divorce, don't trade Kyle Shanahan. Trade him to some desperate, awful organization that wouldn't know a good coach from a bad coach. That's the Raiders. They gave John Gruden $100 million. They might give Kyle Shanahan $200 million. And they might give the Niners 7 first-round picks for him. You just don't know. That would be something interesting. Offering Kyle Shanahan to the Raiders for some firsts. Because a good way to make a good way to make the Kyle Shanahan experience beneficial is to trade him. Because as I just said, if you fire him, the team is just falls apart next year. And you're right back to where you were before he got here. Minus draft picks. So get those. I think he's the guy who could get you those draft picks back. But what's funny is life after Kyle, you trade him to the Raiders. You could trade George Kittle there too. You could trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Certain players and figures in this organization need to go if they miss the playoffs. Kittle, Garoppolo, Kyle. They need to start over with the young core, which would probably be Fred Warner, Trey Lance, Deebo Samuel. They haven't missed the playoffs yet, but come on. Yesterday, I asked Kyle Shanahan, I said, Kyle, what makes you confident your team is going to make the playoffs this year? And, his go-to thing with me right now is to just disagree with the premise of my question. And I knew he was going to do it with this. So I gave him, the premise is you're confident you're going to make the playoffs. And he disagreed with it. He said, well, I never said that. I never said that. Nice, dude. So you're not confident you're going to make the playoffs. Nice. That's what the fans want to hear. He's so good at telling the fans what they want to hear. It's amazing. I never said that. I'm focused on the next game. Nice, Jim Mora. Good job. So don't expect playoffs this year. Jed, fans, I guess it's time to start looking for Kyle's replacement. So I'll start looking. I think it's important to look for the general manager first, but it's time. We need to do this soon because Trey Lance is already hurt. This is getting weird. We may need to make a trade. We may need to make a switch soon. So, see what Mark Davis wants to offer for Kyle. How many firsts are we talking here, Mark? All right, let's answer some questions. How are you going to say you don't know how or when it happened and Trey doesn't know either in that trade? Didn't even notice anything until he went to bed. That makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to go to any conspiracy theory here. I'm sure I'll let you guys do that because I'm thinking right along with you. I'm just not going to say it because I don't know. But it's super weird and it's just so convenient because now Kyle doesn't have to say, look, I know that Trey is the future and he really, I said he played well enough to win, but I'm gonna go back to Jimmy for no reason. I'm just gonna go back to Jimmy. It's my decision. Well, I'm just playing the healthy quarterback this week. Now I know he said he wanted to go back to Jimmy, but it takes away some of the anger from fans if they think, well, Trey wasn't even an option. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? Boo Birds are going to be out in full force on Sunday Night Football. Will be humiliating for Kyle and Jimmy when Chris Collinsworth makes a big deal of it. Whew. Fortunately for the Niners, the Colts aren't that good. Carson Wentz, I mean, can Jimmy beat Carson Wentz? I think so. Maybe. I don't know. It's a good point. But what could happen is Jimmy Garoppolo starts, the Niners win, and for another week, everyone says, well, they could be 6-0. They could be 6-0 right now. That's what we'll hear. How did your strategy session with Jed go? Well, that was kind of it right now. I was just kind of laying it out right now. But I think Jed, I think I'm on the same page with Jed. I think I'm picking up what Jed's laying down, and I like it. No play action. He's collecting a paycheck. Yeah. Awfully strange. Things that make you go, or maybe he's just having a bad stretch of games, just like players do sometimes. I don't think this is dire, but I also don't think he has been good at all. Also, free Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, maybe. It'd be a nice time. Look, bye week, Kyle Shanahan, figure out why you've been so bad and then be better. Let's see. He's got 2 weeks to be better. Usually good offensive coaches figure it out over the bye week, right? Andy Reid always does. Isn't Andy Reid undefeated after bye week, stuff like that? He's just outrageously effective after bye weeks. Kyle, let's see what you can do with 2 weeks to figure it out. Clemson offensive coordinator or Dabo Swinney, the next man up, if the team doesn't generate wins enough this year. Interesting names. Put him on the radar. I don't have an opinion on Dabo. His name is Dabo, though. I have an opinion on that. No, I don't. Hold the phone. Okay. Shanahan has no one to blame but his damn self. Yeah. I like that, Ollie. His damn self. Kyle sabotaged Trey. Running backs have only 10 carries. Jed, what do you think, Jed? Do you think it was sabotage? I don't know. Jed, what do you think? Ask Shanny why he doesn't counsel Lance others like Andy Reid and Sean Payton does to help their quarterback learn and succeed. He'd say, oh, I do. I do that all the time. You mean by no means am I perfect? I see so many banana hands in there. It's hilarious to me. His legacy is that people are going to know him as banana hands the rest of his life. Benjamin and Sanu over Sherfield and Jennings. And Banks has to be better than Brunskill and McGlinchey. Yeah. Benjamin in the game. What is that sabotage? What is that? All of a sudden, Benjamin is better than Trent Sherfield? What? I don't get it. I don't think your question to Shanny about the playoffs was necessary at this time. He's not going to give a straight answer to. Would have been funny to mention RG3 in there. If Trey gets big injury, I'll stop watching football. I don't know. I mean, this is a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. They were talking about Super Bowl aspirations at their state of the franchise. They brought up 2019 vibes without asking the last few months. And now I say, well, what about the playoffs? Are you confident you're going to make the playoffs and that's off limits? I don't know, man. He could just say, because, I'm really confident in the players I have in this team. These guys have championship pedigree. These are NFC champions. We have Fred Warner on this team. We have Trent Williams on this freaking team. Deebo Samuel. I believe in these guys. No, I didn't say that. What makes you? I'm just trying to beat the Colts. Kyle Shanahan is relentlessly uninspiring. His players are looking for a spark, and they hear that. They're like, that's what we needed. One game at a time. Not quite convinced we're going to the playoffs. Let's go. I'm ready to run through a wall for this coach. The most uninspiring coach. Relentlessly uninspiring. But it's okay because his offense is so good. It makes up for it. That's why they score 5 points on average in the first half of games since week 1. Okay. Was Kyle's middle finger focused on Jed last week? I don't know, Justin, man. Strange things are afoot in Santa Clara. Strange things are afoot. It's been proven that Banana Hands cannot handle the head coach responsibilities and is now an average offensive coordinator. Jed needs the backbone like Uncle Eddie. Trade away. Thank you. Trade this dude to someone who doesn't get it. Mark Davis? Someone who cuts his own hair with a bowl. Mark Davis? Gruden won a Super Bowl with Dungies. Yes. It's true. Trade Banana Hands to Jacksonville. Feed him to Balky. Oh, wouldn't you love to have Balky and Kyle Shanahan working together? Oh, my God. They so deserve each other. I want that to happen. I like it. Trade Kyle Shanahan to Jacksonville so he's sentenced to 5 years or whatever working with Trent freaking Balky. Man, that would just be poetic justice. I love that. Is Kyle freaking serious? Everybody can see through his lies. What the F? Jimmy is a garbage can. Trey is the real deal. What a regressing season for us. Hot seat. We need Bill's offensive coordinator. That's Brian Daboll. Yeah, he's doing a great job with the quarterback that everyone compared Trey Lance to coming out of college. It's a good name. Keep Shanahan and just hire Peyton Manning as a quarterback coach, and we are guaranteed 14 wins this season. Why would Peyton Manning want to work that hard? Move to Santa Clara? Quarterback coaches don't make that much. There's no way he would want to do that. Plus, they have Rich Scangarello, who's the best quarterback coach in the league. You didn't know that? Clean house and get the Bills assistant GM or head coach, head of scouting. Bills are good and have been very healthy. See, that's interesting. I like that too. You got to look at the. I want to see who is the general manager you're going to hire. Bills are a good organization. That's one to look for. Good job, Keldon. Cam Newton? What, for quarterback coach? Kyle can look in the mirror and blame himself. You don't keep your running backs on the bench and only use them 10 times in a rookie's first game. Just absolute coaching failure and balanced attack. Yeah, agree. So does he suck now? Or is he mailing it in? I've said for a while that Kyle Shanahan is the most self-destructive coach I've ever seen. Is this self-sabotage? Is this team sabotage? Or is he just not good anymore? Hard to say. I'm just going to go with he's just not that good anymore. Because either way, it doesn't matter what the answer is. Either way, you got to get rid of him. Right? It doesn't matter. If it's self-sabotage, if he's just this bad, either way, he's got to go. Unless he finds answers this bye week. Let's give him that. We'll give him one more week, and then we'll trade him. One more week. That's fair. That's patient. Grant, Kyle's mad they outed him about Brady. Interesting. Although he's been coaching poorly since before then. But that's very interesting. Very interesting. All right. That's the show. I guess a little shorter when it's just me. Oh, hold on. Kyle got Lance hurt, period. Sick of Kyle. Everyone said, hey, man, you keep using Lance like that, you might get hurt. I mean, I liked what he did against the Cardinals, but it's a little risky, right? You can't keep doing that. He got hurt, apparently. We don't know when, though. I don't know. It just seemed like there's no reason not to call more handoffs to running backs when they're working. Why would you not do that? You do it for Jimmy. I don't know. What do I know? Tanner says trade Kittle for a first. Trade Kyle for a first. Let D'Amico inspire this team. Then draft a cornerback and a guard. I like it. Make D'Amico the interim coach the rest of the year. I like it. We need a leader of men, not just a good play caller. We need a gunner sergeant who can lead our faithful into battle, not just a guy who can build great runs. See, to me, you could say that Like Kyle Shanahan usually is a better offensive coordinator than Greg Roman, usually, although not this year. But what Harbaugh had was he had a good coordinator and he was a leader. They had it all. Kyle just has his scheme. There's no leadership. All the leadership comes from the defensive coordinator every year. Neil and Kyle, I mean, the phrase leader of men, that was a Harbaugh phrase. Leader of men. I don't think Kyle is one. I don't think he's a leader of children. I don't think he's a leader. I don't think he's a leader of anyone. Why didn't we draft a cornerback earlier? Because I told them to, and they don't do things I say. They haven't drafted a cornerback before round 3 since 2002 or 4. Grant, watch out for Michael Miller. He did Jesse. Oh, it was Michael Miller? Really? You sure? Yikes. That's scary. Okay. Would you trade Ayuk? I think we could still get a second or third for him. Trade him now if Kyle doesn't like before he only worth peanuts like Pettis. I'd rather trade Kyle than Ayuk. I like Ayuk. I think Ayuk just needs a coach who's willing to play young guys and isn't doing everything possible to just hold on to his job for one more year. Sanu over Ayuk, that's a fireable offense right there. There's more, though. I didn't even make this point. So forget Jimmy over Lance. That just doesn't make any freaking sense after you traded up for Lance. But Ayuk over Sanu over Ayuk. Josh Norman over Diamador Lenore. Why? What is Josh Norman doing? Dre Kirkpatrick over Diamador Lenore. Lenore is a promising rookie who played well in camp and could use playing time, especially since you're not going to the Super Bowl. But no, they're playing Josh Norman and Dre Kirkpatrick, 2 vets off the street who have no future with the team. They're not going to be on the team next year. Kyle is playing a bunch of people who aren't going to be on the team next year because maybe he won't be on the team next year. No commitment to people who actually are going to be on the freaking team next year. It's just him and a bunch of guys on one-year deals doing their thing. Shanahan doesn't like dual threat quarterbacks. They drafted Kirk Cousins in the same draft as RG3. What a confidence booster to RG3. Agree. Kyle wants people to execute his offense, not to go off script. What else can you go and have? Where else can you go and have one winning season out of 5 and it's acceptable? I guess the Niners. Stop it, fans. Trade him. Thanks, Grant. Yeah, I'm with you, T Breezy. It's time. Lance is hurt. Just an excuse to go back to Jimmy. Can't believe Kyle about anything. Whew. Can't wait to actually talk to Trey Lance. So when did you get hurt? How bad is it? I'd like to hear someone besides Garoppolo, besides Shanahan talk about this injury. Man, a little frazzled. Kyle always dialed it up for Mullins and Beathard. And this was the best he could do for Lance? Sad. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's really weird to see Kyle Shanahan fall apart so spectacularly. I think fans get it. I think Niner fans are very astute. One thing that gets me about you guys is in the offseason, you always fall for the hype and the hope. But it's part of being a fan. Once things go bad in the season, Niner fans are all over it. You have high standards. You know what winning looks like. You know what losing looks like. And you don't want to be BS'd. And I think a lot of the media right now isn't necessarily BSing, but they're a little late to realize what's going on with Kyle, how bad he's doing, and how his fans feel about him. Fans are pissed. Kyle's is coached really poorly, and he's not getting the scrutiny from the journalists that he probably that's going to be getting soon. It's coming. I think maybe the fans are. I don't understand why journalists are so nice to him. Why? What is it about him? Are you scared of him? Do you like him? What's the deal? He's very weak right now, and he has very little support among his own fan base. So open season, go for it. Brian Baldinger is going for it. He Brian Baldinger is basically his job is to make friends with every team. And he went out and did a little film breakdown of Trey Lance and basically said, Kyle, like, I can't evaluate this guy. What this offense is so bad. I can't evaluate what is this? All I know, man. All I know is that when the NFL Network turns on the 49ers coaches, that means there's a green light coming from somewhere. I don't know where, though. Even if we get to the playoffs, our first pick is around 55. All cornerbacks here are bargain bin. We need a first. Yep. Trade Kyle. Trade him. Yeah. And the more the Niners lose, the better that is for the Miami Dolphins because they have the Niners picks. Oh, God. Man, that's just terrible. All right. That's the show. I'll be back later with Jack doing film, and I think I'm going to be doing Tuesdays with Vish today. If not, it'll be Wednesdays with Vish. Vish will be here soon. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and let's hope Jed York watched too. See you, everyone.